Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Burton. I am the Associate Dean of Students and the Director of Student Accountability and Support within the Office of the Dean of Students. I've been asked to talk a little bit today about face coverings and the application of the Student Code of Rights and Responsibilities. Coming back to classes this fall, it's important that we start from a common and shared understanding that first and foremost, face coverings are required inside any university building and in outdoor public settings where physical distancing measures are difficult to maintain. A face covering can be a mask or a scarf or a bandana, but the key piece of a face covering is that it covers both the nose and the mouth. Additional information is available on the university's website, coronavirus.utah.edu. A lot of the questions that we have started to get in our office as we prepare to return in the fall is, what if a student arrives in a building or arrives in a classroom or an office space without a face covering? And we really see this playing out in two different scenarios. The first scenario is that a student states that they don't have a face covering because of a personal illness or a disability. In those cases, the student should be referred to the Center for Disability and Access for an appropriate accommodation. The second scenario that we envision is really for any other reason. If a student comes into a building or an office space or a classroom without a face covering, what do you do at that point? And in those cases, what we are asking and inviting staff and faculty and students to do is, to the extent that you feel comfortable, ask that individual if they do have a face covering and if they could kindly wear that face covering while they're in the building. Again, it is appropriate for you to ask the student or the individual to leave the space until the issue is resolved. And you may also try to explore virtual ways to provide a service to them. Imagine, if you will, a student comes into your office and is seeking a service. Rather than just simply turning them away because they don't have a face covering, we think that it is helpful to explain to the student that while you want to provide the service or the information to them, you're not able to do so if they don't wear a face covering, but explore other ways that you could get them that information virtually, referring them to a website or another method. Now to talk a little bit about our student code. Again, at a high level, the Code of Student Rights and Responsibilities is policy 6-400 in the university regulations library. The student code really outlines guidelines that contribute to a healthy and safe campus community. And so specifically for this, if individuals choose not to follow the directive of wearing a face covering, they may be in violation of our student code of rights and responsibilities. And in those cases, a referral to the Office of the Dean of Students may be appropriate. Individuals can make a referral to the Office of the Dean of Students through a number of ways. Our office phone number is 801-581-7066, or you can email us at deanofstudents@utah.edu. Also, our website, deanofstudents.utah.edu, has a public reporting form that can be accessed and utilized by any staff, faculty, community member, or students. Just to talk briefly about what happens, what is the process if you were to make a referral to the Office of the Dean of Students. First and foremost, we focus on what is called an informal resolution process, where we ensure the due process rights of the student by giving them notice of any allegations of alleged misconduct or policy violation, and we allow them a chance to respond. So what this looks like in practice is we will notify the student, reach out to the student via phone or email, and invite them to attend a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting and explain to them the information that we have and allow them a chance to respond to that. The purpose of these meetings really is focused on trying to understand the why behind the behavior and then addressing that why. For example, it may be that the student was unaware of the requirement to wear face coverings on campus. Another scenario may be that they may not have access to funds for face coverings or any other reason. So we focus on trying to understand and address and resolve that why. The student conduct process contemplates an educational and developmental conversation that really is focused on the impact on others and the impact on our community. As with any other policy violation, any other student code violation, if a student is found responsible for repeated or egregious misbehavior, then more aggressive sanctioning may be applied. So we are envisioning a first resolution to an initial complaint, maybe a verbal warning for a student, asking them perhaps to do some self-reflection impact. If the student is found responsible for repeated behavior, there may be more aggressive sanctioning put in place. For example, putting a student on probation, taking away certain privileges, and may not be allowed to participate. A student may not be allowed to participate on campus in classes at the most severe end of that sanction. So again, that's a little bit of an overview of face coverings and the application of the Student Code of Rights and Responsibilities as we get ready to return to fall. Again, contact information for our office. We can be contacted at 801-581-7066 or emailed at deanofstudents@utah.edu. Best of luck as we return to campus this fall, and look forward to seeing everybody back.